All right, let's talk about Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, who, the narrative coming out of Thursday Night Football was that, hey, the Broncos won, but this was not Bo Nix's best day. And if you're a Broncos fan, you're still happy. You're 4-3, you're in a playoff spot, all that good stuff. But the question is, was he actually that bad on Thursday Night Football? Was it kind of just overblown? Well, I wanted to dive into the film for myself and discuss, what were the good and what were the bad from Nix, because there was some real good stuff here by Bo Nix. Before I get too far into it, though, just want to remind you that I do have a movie channel. If you like watching movies, check that out. The link is in the description below. Jackson Kruger Movies is the name of the channel. But yeah, anyway, this play is going to be a cover 2-man that the Saints are in, and this is the Saints' favorite coverage to run. This is the coverage that gave Tom Brady fits over the years, right? Because it's hard to pass against this coverage. Watch, Nix takes the snap and no one's really getting open. The Saints can man up really well against these receivers, and there's 2 safeties deep, so you don't even have the luxury of maybe throwing a jump ball down the field, because then you'd be throwing it into double coverage. So for Nix, there really isn't a great option right here. Or is there? Because, again, it's a cover 2-man. It's hard to throw the ball, but who is looking at Bo Nix here? There's the 4 defensive linemen, of course, but other than that, it's only the safeties who are far down the field. So when Nix steps up in the pocket, there's no one who can pay attention to him, and he picks up a pretty easy 13-yard gain right there. That's good stuff from Bo Nix. But what this also does is it ultimately forces the Saints to not play this coverage very often. If you're going to do this, you have to have a blitz in there, which then can open things up down the field. Like, Bo Nix's athleticism is a real positive aspect. And people love to say, quarterbacks have to throw the ball. And of course they do. But being able to do stuff like this is a real benefit and does really help out the team. So I want to start off with a positive. We can get into some negatives, though, because, listen, I think sometimes narratives do get a bit overblown. I don't think he was awful in this game. There were some mistakes that he just has to clean up if the Broncos are going to be a serious threat. As of right now, they can still be a playoff team with how good their defense is, but, a play like what you see on the screen, it's a zone coverage concept. You have a receiver who's going to be running a route that can definitely get open against this coverage, and it's actually going to work out really well. Watch, Nix takes a snap. The Saints do not play this very well at all. Nix does throw us a bit off balance when he didn't have to. That's something that I've seen a bit from him is sometimes some sloppy footwork. He's very good at throwing off balance usually, but no one's as good as throwing off balance as they are when their feet are planted, except for maybe Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, right? But still, this is a wide open player. And to be clear, there wasn't any miscommunication or anything. This was clearly where this tight end was going. And yet Nix's throw was just a bit high. And it actually was right before the Broncos had another receiver who was wide open. So he kind of had 2 receivers wide open, throws it in between them, and is incomplete. Again, a misfire there. And there were some missed throws in this game. This play is going to be an all-out blitz by the New Orleans Saints. They're sending pressure on a 3rd down and 10, and it kind of makes sense. They don't want the Broncos to be able to get more yards and get in position to maybe make a field goal right here. Nix is going to take the snap. He looks over, and he's under pressure. Again, that has to be mentioned, is that, you do have pressure coming in, but at the same time, it's the NFL. You don't get clean pockets consistently like you do in college. You're going to have to make some off-balance throws. He's going to have to make this throw falling back a little bit. And as you see, this is just an uncompetitive ball right there. That was nowhere close. I was looking to see if it was tipped. I don't believe it was. I think that was just a missed throw due to him being kind of off balance. And listen, does that result in a 1st down if he makes the throw? I don't know. There was a Saints player running in trying to make a tackle, but you're at least closer. You can make it an easier field goal attempt, or maybe you go for it, or maybe the player you throw it to makes a move and gets all the way for a touchdown. It would have been a good play had he hit it, and he just missed the throw. This play was another kind of wild one. So what's going to happen here is it's a 3rd down and 1 for the Denver Broncos here. Inside the 10-yard line, would love to get the 1st down here. Nix takes a snap, and first, this is going to be really well blocked. There's a play action, which helps, but look at how much time Nix has. I paused it right here. We're 5 seconds into the play. This is twice as long as you usually get, and it's going to be even longer. Nix eventually starts to get under pressure, but he's going to navigate it pretty well, but ultimately underthrows that pass right there. Had an opportunity for the 1st down. Maybe they could have gotten a touchdown had he gotten the ball there a little earlier, but again, not quite able to make that play work. A play that you would have liked to see happen. So again, you see some of these missed throws right here that they're things he has to clean up. They just are. And possibly no bigger example than this one, which was an interesting coverage by the Saints, is they're going to send pressure here, despite the fact that there's only 55 seconds left in the half. A lot of teams play cautiously here, but there's still enough time that the Saints don't want to just allow the Broncos to kind of methodically move down the field. So they're going to go with a pressure right here. Again, Nix is going to take the snap, and he is going to do a good job of navigating the pressure, but also has to throw off balance. Those two things are worth mentioning. Again, very athletic guy, right, can get around that initial pressure, but right here, I mean, it's relatively open. I mean, there is a window for him to make this throw right here, but this isn't even close. It goes way over that receiver's head and gets, really should have been intercepted. And who knows, if that Saints player is able to get the interception and go down the field, he might be gone. He might get into the end zone for a touchdown. At the very least, he's gaining some yards and giving the Saints a chance to make it a one-score game. So kind of gave the Saints an opportunity to get back into that game and got lucky that he got away with one. So yeah, these are the things you just got to clean up. Like, these missed throws, these are plays that are on the table that you're leaving, and they can, again, when you start playing the best teams in football, it's going to be an issue. That being said, I mean, there was some really good stuff here from Bo Nix as well. Maybe not even really good is too strong of a word, but he still is doing a good job at this kind of thing, which is it's a zone coverage concept, and you have a receiver going from the offense's left to the offense's right, just trying to get into a gap in coverage, really over the middle, but it's actually going to get open more so towards the top of the screen. For Bo Nix, watch as he takes the snap, and due to some inside pressure, he reads it really well, gets sort of outside the pocket, and this is going to be an off-balance throw, but these are the kind of off-balance throws I think he's really good at. He's kind of rolling to his right, throwing with his body right here. Again, it feels like it's not that he can't make an off-balance throw, it's more so sometimes when he has to make these awkward throws, his accuracy dips more than you would like. But here, as you see, Nix does make the off-balance throw very accurately, and they're able to pick up a decent gain there. So again, there are absolutely these moments when he's able to do this, and I would say this is usually what we see from Nix. It's not even we see this occasionally. This is the main Bo Nix that we see, in my opinion. So what do I make of all of this? Well, okay, yeah, there are some missed throws, and like I said, you just have to think that at a certain point, these can come back to bite you. So far, it hasn't really been that big of a deal. Again, the defense is still playing really well. And I think we still see a lot of good from Bo Nix. I think there still is a lot of positives, both in the running game and just, I think he runs the offense pretty well. Like, you have to deal with some missed throws. You do. Like, that's what you've had to deal with so far to start the year. But I still think there is some good stuff here from Bo Nix, and he still is a young player. Like, again, footwork is something, and I think a lot of this inaccuracy stuff is a footwork thing. It's not like, in some ways, seeing some sloppy footwork can almost be a benefit when you're seeing it, because that means that he is capable of being accurate. When he has kind of the feet placement he wants, he tends to be pretty accurate. He usually just misses throws when he's kind of throwing off balance, sometimes for no reason. So that's something you can fix. That's something that you can get better at. Now, not everyone gets better at it. Drew Lock was awful at it in college, was awful at it in the NFL, and never got better at it. It happens. So it is something you're going to have to work on, but Sean Payton, kind of known for being a pretty good head coach, I would say. He's known for a few things, but that's one of them, is being a good head coach. I would fully expect him to kind of learn this stuff and get better at this as he goes along. And again, there might always be some missed throws, but you hope the good outweighs the bad. And I would even say in this game, which wasn't Nix's best game, the good outweighed the bad, I think. So yeah, all in all, a fine not Nix's best performance, but there's been a lot of worse performances in the league so far this year, including in this game, than Bo Nix's performance in this one. So some things to improve upon. We'll see how he does improving upon those things. So yeah, that's my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.